Hello. So today we're going to hear a story about a little dandelion. There was a little dandelion. She was just a little tiny seedling when she first dropped out from the sky onto the ground and finally got her roots deep into the soil. It took some time, and she always made sure that she could persevere and push into different places, making sure that her roots were set in, but always trying to crawl wherever she could. Now you see this dandelion. She was named Tony, and as she was walking through the grass, trying to find a new place after being just a little bit more adventurous than her other dandelion friends, she saw a small mound of loamy soil. The soil was very soft, it was very comfortable, and it was very moist. It was a place where she knew that she could probably stay for a very long time and be happy. But that didn't make her happy. She did stay on that loamy piece of soil for quite some time, a few years in fact, as she tried to grow through the seasons, reach her leaves up into the sky, and finally take advantage of all the nutrients that the ground had for her. But that loamy mound, it didn't have what she wanted on it. It didn't have something that she was seeking. The mound was so easy to find, and sure, she was a lot bigger now, but she wanted more. She wanted to be more. So once again, she pulled up her roots and started searching for something new, searching for something outside of the lawn that she had grown up in. She waved back to all her dandelion friends and crawled through, looking for different yards, looking for different patches of dirt, looking for something. And occasionally she'd find a nice place. It seemed very comfortable, and she did walk very far to get to it. But nothing seemed right. She just wanted to find a place where she could be happy, where something could meet all the needs that she had, whether it was nutrients or safety or a place that she could call home. What she didn't realize, though, she wasn't looking for somewhere to be. Instead, she was looking for that struggle. You see, she didn't want to have a hard life. But all the mounds and lawns that she had found before were easy. She could get to them very simply, and even though it was work, she never really had to go too far. She was still within distance of all the rest of her family and friends. And sure, she could hang out with them if she wanted. She chose not to. But without pushing herself farther, when she reached that last lawn, she felt empty. All this traveling was for nothing. She didn't really get to where she wanted to be. So she made a decision then. I am going to find what makes me happy today. I'm not going to stop walking until I find a place that I know is going to change my life for the better. So she did that. She pulled herself up again and kept going. She made a couple friends along the way. There was a little bird that would hop and skip next to her, a little sparrow. And there was a dog who came by and was intrigued at the fact that he was seeing a walking dandelion for the first time in his life. He didn't say anything to her, though. And she saw plenty of other mounds, plenty of other perfect places for a dandelion to live, plenty of other places where she would not have to compete with anybody else for the soil. But that wasn't where she wanted to belong. She walked for the rest of the day. The sun had already set, and she began to grow tired. I'm going to lay my head down then, she said, out loud, and she rested her head in a leafy bed of grass. When she woke up the next morning with the sun rays glistening on her yellow head, she noticed that the leafy bed of grass that she was on was actually a bush. She didn't know how she had gotten on top of the bush, but something had got her up there. So she hopped down, making sure not to trample her own roots while she was in the process, and continued walking. What a strange bush, she thought. She kept walking forward, and saw another bush. Another leafy bush just jutting out of the ground. This one smaller, though. "Hello?" she said to the bush. "How did you get here?" and the bush shook its leaves, its rustling sounds making so much noise that her little tiny dandelion ears couldn't take it. And he swiveled around and looked at her. Well, I went out searching for my own place, and I didn't get too much farther than my parents had, but I love it here. Look at the view. Can't you feel the sun? It's amazing. I'm very happy here. Now, Tony, she saw this, and she wanted that. She wanted to feel that same sort of joy. So she asked him a really serious question. What makes you so happy here? And he said, the soil here is poor, but I get a clear access to the sun, and I can hear the rustling of the leaves, and occasionally hummingbirds lay their nests inside me. I'm one with nature. And sure, my family lived very comfortably on their own lawns, but I didn't want that. I wanted to become one again, something whole. So Tony asked again, where can I get that for myself? And the bush said, you need to find it yourself, but don't find a place that you think will be the most opportune. You make it the most opportune for you, your family, or whatever else you want to take care of out there. I don't know you very well, but I know you have a good heart, and I know that you're willing to go on a journey to find the things that you want to do. And if you truly seek to be happy, you need to be willing to go on that journey and be willing to take the first steps forward into making life better for yourself. I'll be here if you ever need me again. But something tells me this is the last time our paths will cross. But wherever you go, never forget, it will be up to you to decide where to go, and it will be up to you to make sure you make the most out of wherever it is you decide to stay. Tony left. She kept walking. Maybe she was looking in all the wrong places. Maybe the places with all the loamy soil were too easy. Sure, she had already kind of thought about this before, how part of the struggle of finding a new place was giving her purpose. But now to be told that even a poor place, even a place without good soil or a place without a lot of water, can be a place where she can make a life? How could that exist? And so she made the decision that maybe she will try to just cut out her own place. Try to cut out her own piece of a lawn. Maybe not someone's lawn. Maybe a forest. Maybe somewhere crazy that no one else has gone. Maybe the sand dunes. No, that's ridiculous. There's no way we could grow in sand dunes, she thought. But why not? Was it just the water? Had she ever tried? She didn't know. The sparrow that was hopping next to her came back, and she asked him for one favor. Can you please take me to the edge of the desert? The sparrow happily obliged. He picked her up in his beak, and they flew. She saw the world from a bird's eye view. She saw the world from atop, from the heavens flying above the clouds, and realized that the lawn that she had been on was so small. The loamy dirts, the little 1 square inch that she had dedicated to herself, was nothing compared to the vastness of the earth. Maybe she wasn't meant to sit down idly somewhere. Maybe she wasn't meant to try and stay somewhere and make her own path. Maybe it was her goal and her dream and her destiny to travel the world in as best way possible. She got put down at the edge of the desert. Little tufts of grass did sprout through. She could feel the grains of sand underneath her, and she could feel the sun beating down hot. The bird said, "Are you sure? Are you sure you want to be here?" And she said, "Yes. This will be the first leg of my adventure, and it's going to be hard. But I know at the end of it, I will be happy. I know that in the middle of it, I will be happy. And I know that I am so thankful for you to have given me everything that you did, to have flown me out here, even though it's way out of your way. I don't know how I'll ever repay you." The bird just tweeted along and left. She turned back towards the desert, an endless expanse of sand and heat, and smiled. She was a dandelion, and she wasn't gonna be stopped. She was gonna keep going wherever she could, spreading throughout the world in as best a way possible, so she could finally experience everything that the world had to offer, the good and the bad, and make the most of it for herself.